This is going to be a look at some Aidan Hutchinson film from the Lions' 20-6 win over the Falcons in Week 3. Of course, we know the defense was resurgent under Aaron Glenn. Brian Branch played fantastic. Hopefully, you checked out my Brian Branch video that I put out Monday evening before the Monday Night Football game. I do want to show you a really cool adjustment that Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell utilized in this game that I think kind of solved two problems at once. I'll briefly just explain it in this video, but we're going to focus on Hutchinson, who was his usual disruptive self throughout the game. He didn't complete a sack until the second half when he had two, as we know it, one the final one, a strip sack. Him and Brian Branch seem to be the stars so far, even though Hutchinson didn't have a sack prior to this game. They held the Falcons to 44 rushing yards on 20 attempts, also generated 7 sacks. I think Hutchinson has been playing extremely well in his entire NFL career. Rewind time back a year, or a little more than a year, after the Week 1 game last year against the Eagles, there were things being said about Hutchinson comparing him to Travon Walker that were unfair. Travon Walker had a beautiful game in his opener as a rookie against Washington. The next week, Hutchinson gets 3 sacks, and over the course of the season, I think Travon Walker only generates 4.5 sacks total. I don't like immediate and instant reactions. I don't like our microwave society, how they evaluate 22, 23-year-old kids, because that's what they are. I'm an old man, so I can say that. Because these guys are not finished products, number one. Number two, we should look at their body of work to really try to accurately evaluate them. And Hutchinson's body of work, anytime you watch a game for him, I think is pretty damn impressive. Let's look at 3 plays from the Chiefs game. He's going to be rushing against the right tackle here. He does make contact with Mahomes slightly after the hit, ends up putting Mahomes on the ground in the end zone. But this is what you want with quarterbacks that are going to throw the ball 40, 45 times a game. Put hands on them. I'm a Ravens fan, and I always reflect back on what Ray Lewis said at one time. Let's see how they play when people are putting hands on them. I like what some of these NFL defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties are being taught to do in terms of make contact with the quarterback, maybe not take them down like this after the ball is out, but let them know that you're there. Aidan Hutchinson is always there, if you ask me. Rushing against the right guard here on a 3rd and 10, early second quarter, playing downhill. One thing that I've always noticed about him is how active his hands are. He's running moves and reacting quickly. It reminds me of like a professional boxer who can react quickly with their hands while on the move. And most of us are not able to do that because we haven't practiced these moves playing downhill and utilizing our hands to get off of blockers at the same time. He seems to have second nature. 3rd and 4, he's going to cut underneath. I think this is a planned stunt. He's just got great pursuit. He's always getting after your ass. Gata is what we used to call it. And Aidan Hutchinson, if you had like 2 or 3 guys like this on the defense, it would be horrible to play against as an offense. Let's get to the film against the Falcons. First possession going to be a pass deflected on a boot concept. So the run concept's going to go to our right here. His agility and wingspan, I think, are on display here. The fullback's trying to hook him. He actually has 2 passes defended on Sunday, if I remember correct. I think I'll show you the second one here in a couple of minutes. That's the one thing about Aidan Hutchinson, I think, that strikes me. Along with his effort, his motor, and his pursuit, his ability to use his hands constantly while keeping his eyes wherever they're supposed to be, he always thinks he's in the play, even when he's not. He always appears to believe he can impact the play because he's played thousands of football snaps in his life and watched film, probably 3 times as much. And he's always been able to do so, no matter whatever level he plays. This is a 3rd possession, 2nd and 12, pass rush versus the right tackle. I think he gives up his chest on this attempted swim. It's a loss. I think it's complete to Pitts, 14-yard gain, something like that. Gives up the first down. I like to show some balance in the videos so that if it is an opportunity to illustrate someone's play, Brian Branch, Lamar Jackson, Aidan Hutchinson, whoever, to show some examples of them not succeeding, because the guys they're going against are badass football players too. Late second quarter, McNeil, I think, is going to get the sack. But watch how Hutchinson's there to contain the quarterback. He's also there to crush one of the tight ends and deposit him back into the quarterback. He's very physical. That's a bland statement, though, so I like to make comparisons. I usually use basketball. I play basketball every day for 25 years or something like that. He reminds me of a professional boxer who isn't a one-punch knockout guy. It's the accumulation of punches and shots with Aidan Hutchinson over the course of a game. Little things like that. You non-Lions fans may call it cheap, whatever you want to call it. He plays to and through the whistle, and he's going to make you do so as well. And if you don't, there's going to be moments where he does things like this. McNeil gets the sack. There's a physical tone that guys like Aidan Hutchinson set with that tight end, with both tight ends, and then falling on top of Desmond Ridder. Of course, he's not trying to hurt him. That's just football. I think that's how he was raised to play it. Saying he's physical to me doesn't really get to how devastating his physicality is. It's the accumulation of shots. He reminds me of a boxer that throws a couple hundred punches around and just wears people down by the fifth, sixth, seventh round. This is a 3rd and 6 unique call by the Falcons for the modern NFL game. It's a run to Bijan Robinson up to the boundary. It's in the 3rd quarter. Hutchinson and John Kaminsky make the tackle from the backside. I think McNeil's doing a pretty good job on the front side of this as well. One of the things I'll start talking about here is you have Charles Harris up here at DN, but one thing that the Lions were doing was playing 3 inside linebackers and walking one of them up to play the Sam position as an edge rusher. And I think on the next play I'll get a chance to show you that. But you got Aidan Hutchinson pursuing from the backside here. Kaminsky's getting cut, and he's able to pop right back up, get right back in the play. Those two guys finish it off. Like I said, it's a 3rd and 6. Very similar to a play that I saw the Falcons run against the Ravens last year in Baltimore. On a 3rd down, they're willing to run it 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and that was last year with Tyler Algiers, who's a super talented running back as well and very difficult to tackle. Same play, end zone angle. You can see Kaminsky and McNeil are at D tackle. Kaminsky's communicating something to him. He's going to get cut, and watch him pop right back up. I mean, just a perfect example of the cut drill, which you usually use a ball for. You're not practicing that with, another one of your players. You don't want to hurt each other. But a great example of getting cut, ending up on the ground, popping right back up. Hutchinson there. I think the backside inside linebacker, I think it was Rodriguez there as well. Another pass deflected, and you don't really get a great view of it here. He's rushing against the guard. You don't really get a great view of it here from the all-22, to be honest with you, but you will from the end zone angle. He's always in the play. He looks like a pain to deal with from an offensive standpoint. He just has a way to get to the football on every single snap and impact the game. I had about 6 or 8 other plays saved where I think he has an impact or plays a role, and this was just another one where he's involved without getting to the quarterback. You have Barnes here on at edge rusher, Anzalone, and Rodriguez. So you have 3 inside linebackers on the field and 2 edge rushers because it's a 2nd and 5, but it's in the 4th quarter, and the Lions understand that the Falcons are in pass mode. This is about 6:30 left in the game. He finally gets home here. The Falcons do end up settling for a field goal on this. This is a 1st and 10. No let up in this guy. You can see why he doesn't play in the preseason because there is absolutely zero dial down in his volume, in his effort at all. I think he's shooting his right arm up in the air to kind of sell the upfield rush and then utilizes the spin perfectly. Lands the elbow, kind of like a spinning elbow in MMA. Not sure what the celebration is there, but another example here of it's a 1st and 10. Jack Campbell is on at edge defender. Anzalone is on an inside linebacker with Barnes. I like how they were rotating these guys. It kind of solves the issue of Houston's not available. Charles Harris, I don't know why he got less snaps. He doesn't appear to be finishing plays, Harris, if you ask me. So solving the edge defender issue and the difficulty of getting all 4 of your talented inside linebackers on the field, Anzalone, Barnes, Rodriguez, and Campbell. This kind of solves that issue. But back to Hutchinson, he had thrown that right arm up in the air to sell the upfield rush, and now you can see the spin using the right forearm and elbow to clear the left tackle, finishes it off for his 1st sack. I thought it was a beautiful rush. Watch him one more time sell it with the right arm really high up in the air, like he's trying to dig down, get his cleats in the ground to get upfield, generate power on the next step, except he's putting his foot in the ground and spinning. Beautiful work. 1st sack of the year. I have no idea what that celebration's about. All right, final possession, about 2:10 left. And again, you've got Harris is on the field here, but I think that's Campbell up at the top. And Hutchinson is rushing against the right guard, or left guard, excuse me. He uses his right hand to frame him up. And then that allows him to rip under with the left hand and then get to the quarterback and finish the sack, and strip sack, I should say. Right here in a moment, he's going to frame him up with the right hand. And what that does is it clears the space between their bodies and allows him to rip under with the left hand and clear to the outside of the left guard's body. I will show you the end zone angle, and then finishes, and oh, by the way, also recovers the fumble. Last look at it from the end zone angle. Again, Campbell on here on the left side. Harris is the other edge rusher over on the opposite side. Hutchinson rushing from the three technique position, standing up, trying to get a bull rush. And then this is a counter. The bull rush, quote, didn't work. The left guard was able to anchor down. But you never know if sometimes they're not actually trying to win with the bull rush. They understand, the pass rushers understand that they're not going to win with the initial move, but they're eliciting a particular counter. In this case, it's the anchor down, frames up, good timing when to rip. See, he's withdrawn his left shoulder and left hip, and then brings it all through, finishes it off. You can tell he's done that probably 10,000 times in his career and his football playing days in high school and college. Appreciate you guys for checking out the video. You let me know what you think of the Aidan Hutchinson film that I showed you, how I was able to break down the plays. Maybe if you like or dislike the comparisons I made to a boxer or a fighter who just lands a lot of strikes, not pitter-pat stuff like Nick and Nate Diaz, but lands a lot of strikes, forces you to defend them, simultaneously wears you out with the pace and the accumulation of blows. I would liken him to one of those fighters. I can't think of a great comparison right now from a boxing standpoint, because his hands are so active and he's just so committed to playing downhill and getting to the football no matter where it ends up. You guys, let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this content, this film study look at Aidan Hutchinson from week 3, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.